Hello, it's Wednesday. Today, instead of a Wandering Wednesday, I have the second part of my DVD collection video for you. Yesterday, I talked about all of the films that I own on DVD. If you'd like to see that video and you'd like to learn a little bit more about how my patchy DVD collection has come about, then you can do so by following the link above me here. But today we're going to talk about TV shows, all of the TV series that I own on DVD. I am hoping that this video will be shorter than yesterday's. That was quite a long video. I have less DVDs to talk about, so fingers crossed. Yesterday I started with box sets, so today I'm going to do the same again, although I guess technically some of these aren't box sets, they're just things that are in non-standard DVD cases, but we need to make this video slightly coherent somehow. Firstly, I have a few box sets that I have yet to watch, or that I have started but not finished. Firstly, Band of Brothers, which I only bought recently, to be fair to myself. I got it in a charity shop. I love this case. But I've heard so many great things about this show over the years, and I've really wanted to watch it, and now I can, and I will soon, I am sure. Secondly, True Calling, another charity shop find. It stars Eliza Dushku. When it was on TV years and years ago, I read reviews and it sounded like it was up my street and like I'd enjoy it, but I didn't have access to the channel that it was on. But now I can finally watch it. Now Blackpool, I have watched some of this, but random episodes. I've never watched the whole thing. It's quite an odd show and I have to be in a particular mood to watch it, which is why only random episodes have been watched. And then finally Secret Diary of a Call Girl, which stars Billie Piper. I am midway through series 1, which I am enjoying. There are 3 series in total. Now on to things that I have watched or have watched most of. I'm starting with Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. This is what introduced me to Aaron Sorkin. It's set behind the scenes of a late night comedy sketch show and it stars Matthew Perry. I really love this series, even though it was markedly less successful than The West Wing, which is of course what Aaron Sorkin worked on immediately before. But that brings me on neatly to The West Wing. It's almost like I've planned this. After Studio 60 I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to watch The West Wing. So I bought this box set for myself and took it off to uni with me and watched the whole thing. I've now watched the whole series I think 3 times, beginning to end. It's also one of the heaviest things that I own, which is convenient when you're carting it to and from uni for 3 years. And now, Morecambe and Wise, the BBC collection. I love Morecambe and Wise. I've never watched the whole collection from beginning to end. I tend to just pick random episodes or pick random clips. So at some point I would like to watch this from beginning to end. Then we have my Game of Thrones DVDs. I have season 1 and 2 in this box set together, and then seasons 3 and 4 separately. I also have season 5, but I lent it to a friend, so I don't have it on me. I've yet to buy season 6, but I will at some point and add it to the collection, and also season 7 when it comes out. Now a show which I really love and would recommend, Wentworth Prison. It's an Australian drama series set in a women's prison. Season 1 and 2 is again in a nice box set together, and I have season 3 here as well. Season 4 is also out, but as is becoming a theme in this video already, I don't have it yet. So Doctor Who now. I have this wonderful season 1 to 4 box set, and the complete specials, which were David Tennant's final episodes, and then the 5th series, which was Matt Smith's first. But I don't have anything from then on, but I do have it all recorded from the TV broadcast, and it's on Netflix. And now we're just sort of switching between genres constantly here. The Hollow Crown. This is the first series of The Hollow Crown, which has Richard II, Henry IV's Part 1 and 2, and Henry V in it. I have the 2nd season recorded, which is why I don't have the 2nd season yet. Dollhouse by Joss Whedon. We have Eliza Dushku starring again. I've watched the whole show and I really enjoyed it. Taken, the miniseries by Steven Spielberg, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend finding it. It's about alien encounters and it spans several generations, and it's a very high quality show with loads of wonderful people in it. The Lizzie Bennet Diaries. This is the web series that introduced me to YouTube. It's being repeated from the beginning on Facebook right now in real time, and I'm loving having the opportunity to watch it all again. But you can watch it on YouTube if you would like. Blackadder. This is another really great box set. Peaky Blinders, my favourite TV series of all time. And The Complete Life on Mars, which is 2 series. Another really imaginative, wonderful show which I would recommend finding if you can. And then The Thick of It, a wonderful BBC comedy starring Peter Capaldi. This is the first 3 series and the specials, and I also have series 4 separately. There's some really great shows here which I haven't thought of for quite a while, another one being Love Soup. This starred Tamsin Greek and it had 2 series. Black Books, which was on Channel 4. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Hustle. This was a BBC drama a few years ago starring Adrian Lester. There were 5 series, but my favourites were the first ones, which is why those are the ones that I have. Firefly subscribe back to Joss Whedon. I showed Serenity in my film video yesterday, which was the sequel, but I love Firefly and I wish it had run for more episodes. Numbers, this is an American show and it was all about maths, which is why I loved it. It was using maths to solve crimes. And Without a Trace, another American show which I loved when it was originally on. Again, I only have seasons 1 and 2. Now Britannia High, which was an ITV show. I don't have many ITV shows here. It was like Glee, but before Glee and set in a British school. Speaking of Glee, I have Series 1 of Glee here, and also Series 1 of Downton Abbey. I've put these two together because these are two shows that I used to enjoy, but have become less interested in them over time. I think I stopped watching Glee after Season 2, and I think I stopped watching Downton Abbey midway through Series 3. So it's a shame, but I think sometimes when you stop enjoying a show, I think it's better to just stop watching it. Coupling, which was a Stephen Moffat comedy, and I think it's still pretty much my favourite thing that he's done. I'm not sure how well it's aged because I haven't watched it in like 10 years, but I used to like it. And now finally in box sets we have my Alias DVDs. This is another show that I loved and I haven't watched it for a long time. Now we're done with box sets, so we're over halfway through the video now. I have some period dramas, but not too many. First, Lost in Austin, which I guess is a period drama, even though it begins in the present day. Basically, Jemima Reaper's character Amanda finds herself in the world of Pride and Prejudice, and it's very good and imaginative, and another one that I'd recommend checking out. Now onto a more traditional Pride and Prejudice, the classic 1995 BBC adaptation starring Jennifer Ehle and Colin Firth. I watched this again recently and it's still so good, and I think just the best Pride and Prejudice adaptation ever. Now A Room with a View, which is another ITV drama. It's a few years old. I thought it was a really wonderful adaptation of the book, and I was so impressed with it that I ended up buying it on DVD. Casanova, which is over 10 years old. It starred David Tennant. Such a fantastic drama. It's what introduced me to Russell T Davies. So good. I have some good shows on DVD. I feel like my TV DVD collection is much more consistently good than my film DVD collection. The Paradise, this isn't that old. The second series was only a year or so ago. I didn't like the second series as much as I liked this first series, so I kind of pretend that the second series doesn't exist. Finally, the only one of these I haven't watched yet, I, Claudius. This is the classic Derek Jacobi BBC adaptation. A few years ago there was a BBC radio adaptation starring Tom Goodman Hill as Claudius. I listened to it and I loved it. So I read the book I, Claudius and Claudius the God, its sequel by Robert Graves, and they are now two of my favourite books in existence. So that's why I now own this, because I want to watch this original classic BBC adaptation. Now I've got the sort of sci-fi fantasy genre, which is one of my favourite genres. Firstly, Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog, another Joss Whedon project. Excellent, not really a TV show, but in here anyway. Gorm and Ghast. I watched this when it was originally on TV. Much later on I read the books, and there was also a BBC radio adaptation of that, which was really great. And then I decided to buy the DVD so that I could watch the series again, which I then did. The Fades, one of my favourite TV series of all time. It starred Ian DeCasticker before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It starred Daniel Kaluuya before Get Out, Tom Ellis before Lucifer, and Johnny Harris and Natalie Dormer. The cast were just ridiculous. Definitely one to find and check out. And then we have some Terry Pratchett Sky adaptations. We have Hogfather, which was the first one, and then we have Going Postal. I also have The Colour of Magic recorded, and was there another one? I mean, if there was, I don't have it. And also here I have Da Vinci's Demons, which I haven't watched yet, so I can't comment on it at all. Now we have only one category to go. We're nearly there. That category is comedy and drama. As with film, I didn't know where to put some things, whether to put them in comedy or drama, so I've ended up just putting the categories together. Firstly, definitely a comedy, Big Train, which is a sketch show, and it ran for 2 series. I mean, the cast is ridiculous. It starred Simon Pegg and Mark Heap and Catherine Tate and Amelia Bullmore and Tracy Ann Oberman. And then Spoons, which was also a sketch show, but a less successful one. It only had 1 series, but I did like it, which is why I ended up with the DVD. And now my Horrible Histories DVDs. I have all 5 original series of Horrible Histories. I love it. I know all the songs. It's a whole thing. I know it's now been rebooted on CBBC with a new cast. I haven't watched those episodes yet, but I may at some point, because I do like some of the actors who are now in it, although of course I will miss the original cast. Now another children's TV series, Fungus the Bogeyman. There was an adaptation of Fungus the Bogeyman recently. This is not that, this is much older. It stars Martin Clunes. Suits, the American legal drama. I love this show. I only own season 1 because it's now on Netflix, so there's no real reason for me to own the rest. Now I'm going to finish off with a whole bunch of BBC DVDs because I have a few. Firstly, Sherlock. I have the first 2 seasons. Another show that I am less of a fan of than I used to be, but I still really enjoy it. Shakespeare Retold, which I think is from like 2005. They're a series of 21st century Shakespeare adaptations, and another thing that I would recommend trying to find if you can. State of Play, which starred David Morrissey and John Sim. I didn't watch this when it was originally on TV, but it was recommended to me and I then bought and watched it. There was also a film adaptation of it, which is good. It stars Russell Crowe. Stuart Alive Backwards, which is one of my favourite one-off dramas of all time. It's also one of my favourite books. It's based on a book. It starred Tom Hardy and Benedict Cumberbatch, and it's very funny and very sad. The Shadow Line, one of my favourite series ever. It starred Chiwetel Ejiofor. I've watched it 3 or 4 times. I'm going to watch it again. The characters are amazing. Silk, which is a legal drama. It stars Maxine Peake. I can't remember how many series it's had, but I remember enjoying series 1 and 2 the most. All the Small Things. This is from 2009, I think. It starred Sarah Lancashire. It's about a choir, and it only had 1 series. But I loved it. And finally, and possibly anticlimactically, something that I haven't watched yet, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the BBC adaptation from 1979. I've been waiting to watch this until I've read the book, but I have watched the more recent film, so maybe I could just watch it now. So those are, I think, unless I've missed something out, all of the TV-related DVDs that I own. I hope that this video is slightly shorter than the last one. I feel like it is, and I hope you have slightly enjoyed this little journey through my DVD collection. I hope at the very least it has introduced you to some films or TV shows that you would maybe fancy watching, or that it has reminded you of some things that you have forgotten about, because that's what it's done for me. Let's move across to the end screen. I would love to know what some of your favourite TV shows are, and also, do you have any thoughts on any of the things that I have mentioned today? If you want to see part 1 of this video, then you can do so below, and also my latest video will be there as well. And if you fancy visiting my website or subscribing to my channel, then you can do so beside me here. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you later on in the week.